Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Aradhayo bhagavan vrajeshatanayas tadhama vrindavanam. Ramya kachitupasana vachavadhu vargena va kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanamamalam prema pumartho maham. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu matamidam tatradharana para. Namo Vishnu padaya Krishna Prasthaya bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining to read Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam together. We are reading Canto 10, Chapter 22. Krishna stole the garments of the gopis. And this chapter has two sections, as we discussed in the summary. And we have covered the first section, which is Krishna stealing the garments. Now the next section is a different pastime, how Krishna will shower his mercy upon the Yagyapatnis and the glorification of the trees. So let's start to absorb ourselves in the second half of this chapter from text number 30. Nidāghara katape tigme chayabhi swabhiratmanaha atapatrayitam vikshya druman ahavrajaukasa. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Abhicharna Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Śrī Prabhupada ki jai. When the sun's heat became intense, Lord Krishna saw that the trees were acting as umbrellas by shading him, and thus he spoke as follows to his boyfriends. Hare Krishna. So the Supreme Lord here is glorifying the trees who are apparently, they can't move. They are said to be as sthāvara. They do not have legs to move like how human beings and most animals have. They can't move from one place. But they have consciousness, not so highly developed. But there are a lot of lessons we can learn from the trees. And the Supreme Lord is sharing that. So we see here the Supreme Lord saw that the trees were acting like umbrella. Umbrella gives us shade, like in rainy season, or it protects us from the harsh water or the rainfall. if it's very hot and sunny, people use the umbrella to protect from the sun rays. So devotees, as devotees, Supreme Lord is showing, we should be very observant. We should be very observant of our surroundings, of situations. I recently shared a video, which some of you may have seen. In a school bus, the driver was having some kind of epilepsy attack or something. He lost control over the steering. One student saw this and he rushed towards the driver and slammed the brakes. And it seemed, I mean, if he would have not done so, then probably the bus could have made a serious accident or gone off the road and whatnot. But then the question came that why did no one else observe that? Then someone was busy hearing some YouTube, someone was busy in Instagram, someone was busy in some phone, iPhone, iPad. Everyone was busy in the gadgets, in short. So in this day and age, we don't have time to observe nature. We don't have time to see around, to look around. But even if we see, we don't see with that vision. But the Supreme Lord is, sharing that he did not just see tree. Everyone sees trees. But how many of those people see that the tree provides so many things to us? So Krishna observed that. Great souls do observe that. And they value everyone, even if it's someone a tree, but they're a valuable contribution, they're a valuable asset to the society. We're so dependent on the trees, we can't count, or the blessings that trees provides. So let's see what the Supreme Lord said to his boyfriends. Yes. Anyone wants to read? Next verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I read? Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He so stoka Krishna he hamso Sri Dhaman Subalajuna Vaisala Vishabhav Jaswin Deva Prastha Varutapa Pasyata Tan Mahabhagan Paratha Kakante Jivitan Vata Varsatapahiman Sahanto Varayantina. Translation put by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Krishna said, O Stoka Krishna, O Hamsu, O Sridhama, O Subala, O Arjuna, O Vishala, Vrishabha, Ojasvi, Devaprastha, and Varutapa. Just see those greatly fortunate trees whose lives are completely dedicated to the benefit of others, even while tolerating the wind, rain, heat, and snow. They protect us from these elements. Lord Krishna was preparing to bestow his mercy on the wives of the hard-hearted ritualistic Brahmanas. And in these verses, the Lord indicates that even trees who are dedicated to the welfare of others are superior to Brahmanas who are not. Certainly, the members of the Krishna conscious movement should soberly study this point. Very good. Very nice point, Prabhuji. So we can see how even the trees, can teach us a great lesson. The trees can be, in Iskcon, we say that the trees can also be a Siksha Guru. They can teach us more than the Brahmanas here. So we can we can see that it's not about what you learn or what you, the Shastras, Vedas, Shlokas, and all. But if you are, not in that mood, even the trees are a lot better. Thank you, Prabhuji. That's what I understand. Hare Krishna, please.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. This verse also tells one more very nice thing. The first half, or there are two verses, 31 and 32. In 31, we see the different names of Krishna's friends. Stoka Krishna. Hey, Stoka Krishna. Right? Like buddies, right? These are buddies. Krishna loves his buddies. Hey, my friend. Hey, Amshu. Hey, Sridama, Subala, Arjuna. These are all Krishna's friends. So even reciting these names, remembering these names is also very Vishala, Vrishabha, Ojasvi. These are all names, you see. How many names we have? 1, 2, right? Then Sridama, 3, Subala, 4, 5, Vishala. These are all Krishna's. 6, 7, Vrishabha, Ojasvi, Deva Prishtha, Deva Prastha, Deva Prastha, and Varu Thapa, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow. 10 names are mentioned here in this, correct? In fact, text 31, if someone wants to remember, these are the 10 names of Krishna's friends. Hey Stoka Krishna, Hey Amsho, Shri Dama Subalarjuna, Vishala Vrishabha Ojaswin, Deva Prishtha, Deva Prastha, Varuthapa. 10 names. Beautiful verse, right? Because remembering Krishna, remembering anything connected to Krishna is pure bhakti. And what to speak, these are Krishna's sakhas. Wow. These are Krishna's sakhas. They're close friends of Arjuna. So very nice words to remember and not too hard. Maybe let's read it a few times. Anyone else wants to try? This verse, text 31.
I can read, Prabhuji. He Stoka Krishna, He Amsho, Sridhama Shubala Arjuna, Vishalo Vishabo Ajoshin, Devaprastha Varu Thapa.
Very nice. Our dear Sridhama Prabhu's name is also Sridhama. Sometimes devotees say Sridham, or it's not Sridham. Dham is different. Sridham has a different meaning, but it's Sridhama, which is Krishna's friend's name, one of Krishna's friends. So the servant of Krishna's friend, Sridhama Das. Okay, so you can try to remember this if you feel inspired. Now the next verse talks about, he's telling all of his 10 friends and others, Pashit etan. Look at all these trees. Pashya etan. Look at all these trees. Mahabhagan. They're most fortunate. Maha means big or most. Bhagya, Bhagyavan. Aho Bhagya. Why they are most fortunate? Someone can ask. because they are doing para artha. They're doing, para means others. Para dukkha dukhi, para sukha sukhi. They're doing activities, they're doing benefit, artha. What is the artha? What is the benefit? Like, what is in it for me? Everyone asks that. No. Great souls say, what is in it for others? Is this an activity of para artha? Or para upkar, right? Para upkar, this word para upkar, para artha. All these words coming from the same similar meaning. What is the benefit to others? They take the pain to give others gain, right? That is paropkar. Like Srila Prabhupada. Why did he come to America? Risking his life, getting heart attacks. So many times people tried to kill him, loot him, steal his property. So much health issues, old age, language barrier, cultural barrier, no resources. Why did he come? Paropkar. Para artha. So tolerating the pains to give others gain. And what is real gain? Krishna consciousness. So the trees are tolerating the harsh environment. As Radha Govind Maharaj was mentioning that, have you seen any tree at any point in their life eating their own fruits? Right? Has any tree ever eaten a mango? A mango tree never eats mango. Correct? An orange tree never drinks orange juice. An apple tree never drinks apple juice or apple pie or apple whatever. Right? We take those and make so many dishes and offerings and stuff. But we should not at least forget that it's coming from the tree or nature or Krishna, who is the root of everything. Same with the rivers. Has any river ever drank his own water, her own water? No. Or bathed in her own water? No. They're also doing paropkar. People come and purify themselves in the sacred rivers, but the rivers are always thinking of others. So this is the quality of great soul. The great soul are always thinking of others. What in it not for me? Everyone in this world, this materialistic world, they'll think, what is in it? How will it benefit me? Right? How will this benefit my family or my job, my this, my that? But the trees are not thinking. Para artha, for the benefits of others. Therefore, they're most fortunate. Jivitam, exclusively, ekanta jivitam. Exclusively, they're living for that purpose. Tolerating vata, varsha, wind, rain, atapa, shitapa, atapa, and all those. Vata barishana, tolerating all those tribulations. We discussed those who tolerate are very dear to Krishna, right? Chapter 12, equipoise was the key word there. Therefore, trees are dear to Krishna. Krishna is glorifying trees. Recently, His Grace Amarendra Prabhu also gave this class, Becoming Trees. We should try to become like trees. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this example. Trinadapi sunichena taror iva sahishnuna. Taror iva sahishnuna. Being tolerant like a tree. Right? Taror iva sahishnuna. Sahinshil or tolerant like a tree. In the cold winter, the trees, we have to wear so many jacket and gloves and cap and shoes and whatnot. Otherwise, we'll be like frozen. If someone is not properly geared up in the harsh, cold weather, they'll be frozen up and dead, right? In upper states of US and in many other countries. But the trees, they wear clothes? Does someone think, oh, trees must also be feeling cold? Let me give some clothes. They don't have heater. They don't have clothes. They don't have cap. They're tolerant. Not complaining. In the hot summer weather, when the sun is at its peak, You know, in India, North India, the temperature goes up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, right? And it's windy too. Like, it's very hot plus windy, Lu. But the trees tolerate it. People get sunstroke. People get so many, you know, if someone gives them water or it comes of its own accord, they will take it. But they will never say, hey, why you didn't give me water for the last 7 days? Right? They will never complain. They'll never demand. They're always happy with what comes of its own accord. But they will do not distinguish whom to give and whom not to give. If a bird comes, takes something, they'll take. If a monkey comes, they'll take. If someone cuts the whole tree, they'll give up their life. They will not say a pinch. We should not think that this is their misfortune, or they can't speak, they can't rebel, they can't fight or protect themselves. They should not think like that. Rather, we should think this is their magnanimous nature, that they only know to give. They don't know, they don't say no to anyone for anything. This is therefore they are Mahabhagya, Mahabhaga, most fortunate. Saha Iman Sahanta Varayanti Na. Wow. So they tolerate, but they give others great joy. So it's not that they're saying, so they are doing the Sahanshilta, Taroriva Sahishnuna, same tolerating, but protecting, Varayanti, right? They are protecting like a god. They are protecting. They are our gods. Oh, my dear friends, look at them. They are protecting us. They are like our gods for all these heat and cold and weather. And so Prabhupada emphasizing it. Certainly the members of Krishna conscious movement, refers to all of us, should soberly study this point. Wow. What is that point? What is that point? Okay, let's hear from all of you. What is meant here? Like, what are we referring here? What do you think? Should soberly. Any thoughts?
Tolerating people, how the trees are.
Selfless service to all living entities.
Less service.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji. My reflection upon this is that I think sometimes I get, just for me, this is how I see it, I get very involved in my own sadhana and my own sort of merit and my own sort of almost results in my own path. And I think that I always have to be on guard to not, look down on other people or avoid other people, to always see, through Paramatma, feature of the absolute truth, that Śrī Krishna, the one that I serve and the one that I'm trying to get closer to, is immediately in the hearts of anyone around me. And so all of my sadhana should be so that I can be most sort of able to skillfully serve others, so all the sort of boons or benefits or clarity of mind or, fullness of heart that I receive through bhakti should only be so that I can be an example to others and to inspire others, and not just for my own sort of enjoyment, I guess.
Very nice. Yes, that's a healthy balance we have to maintain. good sadhana, our own reading, hearing, chanting is very important. And then sharing with others is also very important. When we chant and hear nicely, we'll be naturally inspired to share. And that's the point Prabhupada is making here, that Lord Krishna was preparing to bestow mercy upon the Yajna Patnis. Now the Brahmanas were busy in Yajna, mantra, tantra, this, that, but they forgot the essence. What is this mantra for? What is this for? Krishna himself came, sent his friends for some food, and they said, no, we are busy with the Yajna. Well, the purpose of Yajna is to fulfill the desires of the Lord. So sometimes this just doing the ritual, forgetting the spirit behind the ritual, just remains a ritual, which may create artificial pride also. Oh, I know a lot of rituals. I know a lot of verses. What is the purpose of verses? Right? What is the use of that memory of having 1,000 verses in the head, but not one verse in the heart? No good use. Computer has that. Computer has 1 trillion verses in its memory, right? If that's the rule for a pure devotee, then every computer is a pure devotee, because they have zillions of verses from all the scriptures ever created. They can store in their memory. Or these days, what do you say, the cloud or internet or what? It's in the cloud. So the cloud. Oh, Krishna. The point is that we should remember this, that humility, selflessness, tolerance, serving, Prabhupada, this mood we have to develop. This is the unique contribution of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada could have stayed in Vrindavan and spent the rest of his years in Krishna consciousness very easily, comfortably, happily, joyfully, good association, good bhakti, good environment, good temple, good, everything was perfect. What was he missing there? He was in the Radha Damodar temple, where the Shad Goswamis were meeting every day. That was the meeting place of Shad Goswamis. Rupa Goswami Samadhi was there. Raman Reti area, everything, sadhus were there, devotees, prasadam, everything was there. But the spirit of giving, the spirit of, no, it may be uncomfortable for me to step out, right? But if there are 3 zones. There are 3 zones, as Radhesham Prabhu shared this recently. Not recently, I heard recently. I think you all know this, but still for my purification. And since we're talking about it, I'll just reiterate. Let's see if I can share my screen. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa. Okay. So, the comfort. Okay. Then comes stretch. traditional style. Consider this as circle for all practical purposes. So this is the comfort zone. I'll just say C. Then beyond that is stretch zone. We have to stretch to reach to the from comfort to stretch. But at the same time have a good balance. Otherwise, we will go in the exterior zone, which is called the panic zone. These are like concentric circles. Panic. So to be in the comfort zone is always easy, correct? Maintain the status quo, right? I was a continuous improvement. I am in continuous improvement in my workplace. They always say, like, if any state, any process, any person, any company, any system, if they remain in this state of comfort zone, guess what? They will not grow. Maintain the status quo. No hope for improvement. Jo chal raha hai, chalne do. Arey, don't worry. Just maintain the status quo. It may seem that is fine for some time, but if that continues to happen, we will not grow. Same applies to bhakti. Bhakti, we are not striving for newer challenges, newer goals, newer aspirations. Okay, I'm chanting. Okay, I'm eating prasad. Okay, I'm meeting some devotees every week. I mean, it's nice. Absolutely. It's not even doing that is no ordinary thing. But if you're in the comfort zone and not trying to take that little increment, like baby step, like take the next baby step, take the next baby step, always challenge ourselves, always strive for new ideas, new challenges, new ways to be Krishna conscious and share Krishna consciousness. Then bhakti stays fresh. Otherwise, we will start feeling dry and will not grow. And growth always happens when we incrementally, even in like material life. In the gym, if someone is every day lifting 1 pound, I mean, it's fine. It's nice. It's better than not doing. But if they get used to lifting 1 pound easily, and that's become the new norm, then maybe they should focus on maybe 1.5 pounds, right? And if after a few weeks that becomes a new normal, then maybe 2 pounds, because Krishna enables us more. So this is Prabhupada's mood. Chant Hare Kṛṣṇa and share Hare Kṛṣṇa. Chant Hare Kṛṣṇa and teach others, share with others, whatever we may call it. So be Krishna conscious and share Krishna consciousness to the best of our ability. And it is para upkar. It is para artha, selfless, for the real benefit of the masses, of everyone. And guess what? In doing so, we become more Krishna conscious. That's the biggest take for us as aspiring sadhakas. If we share Krishna consciousness with others to the best of our ability, if anyone benefits or not, that's a secondary thing. But we will benefit a lot. How many of you agree? Right? I was today only hearing this. There are, in any class, there are 3 people. One who is speaking, one who is hearing, and one who is questioning, right? Vakta, Shrota, and Pritchaka. Right? Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says, if there's a Bhagavatam class, who will get benefit? Vakta will get benefit, Shrota will get benefit, or Pritchaka will get. The one who's asking, speaking, hearing, and questioning. Okay, let's see. What do you think? Who will get benefit? If a Krishna Katha is going on, one person is speaking, and yeah, please tell.
Person who is speaking, he'll get the most benefit.
Will others get benefit?
Definitely, but the speaker.
Okay. Any other thoughts anyone has?
I think maybe the people hearing would get more benefit than the people questioning. If the people are questioning was like suspicion or something like that, then they're probably blocking themselves from even being able to listen. If they have like a genuine question at the end, I think that's different. But if they're like suspiciously questioning the whole time, then they're getting less benefit, I think.
Very nice. Very nice. Yes. Yeah, generally questioning, the word questioning is more connected to negative, but in the scriptures, it's more connected to the positive things. Like in Bhagavad Gita 4.34 mentioned this, that we should ask questions, but as you said, with the right attitude, with humility, with gratitude, and desire to serve, desire to genuinely know, clarify our doubt, and to follow. Not to challenge, hey, let me check if he knows this or not. Let me see what he was going to say about this. Let me just test his knowledge. That's bad. So, tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnasevaya. Arjuna is asking question. Shukdev Goswami is speaking. Parikshit is asking questions. So, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, these are all full of question and answers. So, Bhagavatam says all three will get benefit. Right? All three will get benefit, whether someone is speaking, whether someone is listening, whether someone is asking questions, right? Like Sutta Goswami and name is Shaunak Adi Rishi, right? There's Shaunak Adi Rishi, Sutta Goswami is speaking, and all the other sages are there. Thousands of Rishis Munis in Nemi Sharanya are hearing. But now consider a practical scenario in Iskcon temple, contemporary scenario. The people who are hearing, they can be spaced out at times, correct? They can be spaced out. Someone, phone ringing, someone's, baby needs attention, someone, wives need attention, someone gets called out for something. Right? And then, or someone is just mentally spaced out and just thinking of something else besides what's going on. But can the speaker afford to do so? The speaker cannot afford to do so. The speaker, there's no question. I mean, the phone is ringing, it will ring, right? It's not that the speaker will take let me take this call in the middle of Bhagavatam class. I mean, if it's a casual reading, it's a different thing. So the point is, certainly the speaker gets more benefit, but the most benefit is one gets the most benefit, one who's sincerely trying to apply that, whether it's the speaker or the one who's questioning or the one who is listening. So, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says this. Book distribution, he was sharing a small audio on book distribution. It is like samadhi, right? Book distribution is real samadhi. In 10 seconds or so, 10, 15 seconds, that encounter you have with the person, you have to convince him to do something which he does not intend to. correct? Let's say we are distributing books at Patel Brothers monthly Sankirtan festival. The guy or the lady or the person who has come there, they've not come here to get spiritual books. They have come there to get some, rice, dal and stuff, groceries. Now, in an encounter, we are strangers to them, right? In 10, 15 seconds, whatever little time we have to strike the conversation, build a good impression, and request them to take the book, which they don't feel that there is a great need for them. Maybe one or two may really be inquisitive, but most people don't think that they really need. But we know that it's required, or Shastras tell, Prabhupada is telling that it's like the doctor, the patient is so diseased that the patient does not know that he needs a doctor. But the doctor, understanding the situation of the patient, knows that this patient is so diseased that he's not even feeling the need of the doctor, but he really needs a doctor. So the doctor forces a little healthy push is fine, but not to offend anyone, not to leave anyone with bad impression, not to, So this is samadhi. Now, can we afford to be spaced out? Not at all, right? So this is real samadhi, Maharaj said. I really like that. How can we not be fully Krishna conscious at that time, right? We're praying to Krishna. Krishna, please help me get the right words. Krishna, please help me to strike a meaningful conversation so that I can inspire. The right words can come. So this is real samadhi. Okay. I don't know how I got there, but yeah, the point was sharing with others, caring for others, sharing bhakti. Now, we can't do what the trees are doing, right? We can't imitate them, but we can take the lessons and try to apply the principles, right? Like devotees doing book distribution. Sometimes it's hot, right? Sometimes the weather is hot. It is certainly some pain, right? Carrying like spiritual burden, we say, burden of love, carrying books, coordinating the logistics, inventory, managing records, all the processes, everything. It's not easy, right? It may seem very easy, but there is a lot of things go behind the scene. Same like honoring prasad may seem easy, but all like getting the vegetables, cutting the vegetables, washing them, cooking them, and clean up, all that goes behind the scene. But if we do that with the mood, like the trees, right? This is the para upkar activity. This is the para artha. This is a selfless activity for the real welfare. And this is the real dharma of human form of life. Human form of life is not for selfish sense enjoyment. It is for selfless sharing and caring. Any other thoughts? Any other comments? I don't know how we went to different things, but any other? Okay, let's read then one more verse, text 33. If someone would like to read this. Yes, Philip, Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, I can read. Aho sambaram janma sarva prani upajivanam sujana seva yashamvai vimukayanti nartinaha. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Disciples Ki Jai. Just see how these trees are maintaining every living entity. Their birth is successful. Their behavior is just like that of great personalities. For anyone who asks anything from a tree never goes away disappointed. Report. This translation is quoted from Srila Prabhupada's Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Adi Lila 946. Yeah, that's very true. Trees never disappoint us, like you said. They're always just giving their fruit and providing shade. And we learn this in science class as children, but often forget that trees are providing us oxygen, and we literally would die on this planet without all the trees. We would not be able to breathe. So even when we're not under their shade, we are breathing what they are producing. They are the intermediary. As they photosynthesize from the sun, we receive the oxygen, and then they also receive some of what we breathe out, carbon dioxide. So yeah, we have so much to learn from the trees, not only what they provide to us, but how there is a symbiosis and a synthesis of life and a connection that is so subtle, yet is the foundation of all human life on earth, and so often just taken for granted. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhu. Isn't that powerful? The tree only knows to give. And he has never turned anyone away. There's a small book which someone gifted me. How many of you have heard about this? The Giving Tree? I think it's a children's book. Have you heard this?
Is that Shel Silverstein, right?
Yes.
I think, I read that when I was in kindergarten. Yeah, I love that book.
I'll read the summary of that. So it is a story of a lasting friendship between a young boy and a tree, right? Lasting friendship. So the story begins with a young boy who loves to spend time with the tree. The tree provides boy with shade and joy and develop a strong bond. The boy enjoys playing around the tree, climbing its trunk, swinging from its branches, and eating its apples. As the boy grows older, the needs and desires change. He needs money. So now he needs money because balas tavat kridas sakta, tarunas tavat taruni sakta. In the childhood, their main thing is play, but as they grow in the youth, their desires change. He needs money and asks the tree to give him apples to sell. The tree happily gives the boy a lot of apples so that he can fulfill his needs. As the time goes on, the boy returns to the tree and asks for more, such as branches to build a house and trunk to build a boat. The selfless tree sacrifices parts of itself to meet the boy's request. Right? It happens. Majority of the homes in US and Europe are built with wood because there's ample wood. But they're giving their lives, actually, their branches, it's their body, right? Like the Dichi gave up his bones to build the Vajra, right? It's the same thing. So they give up. So all the homes practically where we are living are made up of trees, or it's a significant ingredient. The selfless tree sacrifices parts of itself to meet the boy's request. Eventually, the boy becomes an old man, and the tree now just a stump. Because all the parts have been taken, the stump was left. the old man visits the tree once more, seeking a place to sit and rest. The tree, though tired and with nothing left to give, offers its stump as a place for the old man to sit and find comfort. So like touching, right? So even this as a stump, he has taken first the apple, has had a lot of fun time in the swinging on the branches, climbing the tree, eating apple, then he sold apple, then he built the house, built a boat. The tree gave. The great souls give, and forgive. Used for Krishna also. Krishna gives, and forgives. We get, and forget. So the tree is giving, and forgiving. The tree is not saying, hey, you took my apples, you took my wood, you took my branches, you took my everything. Have you given anything to me? Did you ever ask, did you have some water? No. Great souls are like that. So the old man sat on the stump to give some comfort. So the tree gave some comfort to the old man. The story symbolizes the unconditional love and selflessness of the tree, who gives everything it has to make the boy happy. It teaches lessons about friendship, gratitude, and the importance of cherishing the natural world. The giving tree has touched the hearts of the readers of all ages and has been interpreted in many various inviting discussions about sacrifice, love, and the balance between taking and giving. I'll share this book summary by ChatGPT. Using this to get the book summary. Because I don't have the book, but it gives a nice book summary. Any thoughts after reading that summary of the book, The Giving Tree?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I haven't thought about that book in literally decades. But I immediately knew and remembered what it was when you mentioned it, because it moved me so much when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And there's a number of these types of stories, and this is what happens to children. They get books like this, and then for you all, you were raised in other traditions, but for me, I went to Christian Sunday school, and I got little cute kids stories about Jesus and everything, and about the right thing to do. And then at some point, we all get to an age where we realize, like, all the adults forgot all these stories that they are telling us, and they're living their lives and running the world in a way that is completely the opposite of all these stories that they're telling us. And so this is what makes teenagers rebel. This is what makes young people want to flip the table over, because it is frustrating to see what the world has become, and then all these adults are telling us all these nice stories. And this is why Krishna consciousness is so important to me, because it feels like, wow, there are actually some adults who are trying to do the right thing and promote compassion and loving selflessness by pointing everyone's consciousness to fill their heart with love of God. And this is not beating around the bush. This is straight to the point. And somehow this has got to be the revolution that everyone realizes is needed. I don't know how, but there has to be a way to. We all start out so wholesome, and we all start out loving these stories, and then we get twisted and mangled and conditioned by this world, and then we have to undo it all. We have to undo all the conditioning, and then it's really a crazy racket, honestly. But yeah, I guess this is the opportunity to serve everyone, but to try to turn that light on in people's hearts. I don't know. that light that was there, but then got turned off. That's very interesting how it all works. Hare Krishna.
You, bro. Yeah, you're so true. That therefore these stories and stories from Ramayana, Mahabharata, they're not just for kids, they're for everyone. And everyone likes these stories. In India, still a lot of people still hear, but very few follow. But as you rightly mentioned, I mean, this story, if we see, it's so heart-touching, isn't it? It's so heart-touching. It talks about relationship, talks about gratitude, talks about love, talks about selflessness. In one story, we can expand to, on all these, on all the kids' classes we do, or in any class. Like you take Bhagavatam, there are like thousands of stories, hundreds of stories in the Bhagavatam. Prabhupada mentioned so many stories in his lectures. Any devotee we see, they will always mention one or two stories. And this is also for those who like to speak or share Krishna Katha, we must share one or two stories. Panchatantra stories, so many stories. Real stories. Prabhupada's, we should read about the life of great souls so we can share their stories from their biographies, autobiographies and stuff. Because we all get inspiration from that. So it's not just, see, in Bhagavad Gita, it's more philosophy. But how to live Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavatam. Through the stories of Prahlad, Dhruva, Yati, etc., Pandavas, Kunti, Bhishma Pitama, Arjuna. So many great examples. Gajendra, Jamila. Good, bad, it teaches everything. If someone deviated, why they deviated, all the aspects, all the different characters, their qualities, their ups and downs, what helped them to grow in bhakti, what took them downhill. Everything is there. So yes, we must, every parent, every teacher, every person should have, tons of the stories in their like repository. Because any moment we may end up using something. Like the famous, His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj says this is that we should, when we are teaching kids especially, we should not say, oh, and Narad Muni used this actually. He said, okay, he told to Prachini Bari, let me tell you a story of a king. And then the whole story goes on, and the Prachini Bari says, actually, this is my story. This is me. That king is me. Oh, really? I was just telling you a story. Right? Same with kids. If they do something which is inappropriate, one direct way is, hey, why you did that? This is bad. This is this. Dare not do this ever. That's fine. But if you really want that point to go deeper, we should share a story that, something, whatever, depending upon the context, tell a story. And then they realize, actually, you know what? I also did that the other day. And let them take that ownership of that mistake they did. You know that they did a mistake. But if you tell them, then they may not have that powerful, deeper understanding. But we should all read a lot of stories, hear a lot of stories. And in Krishna consciousness, we don't have to really go outside. Inside Krishna consciousness, inside Bhagavatam, there are so many stories. We're reading every day, right? Stories. Thank you, Prabhu. And yes, it's for adults because all adults also like stories. I mean, I love stories. Thank you. Anything else before we wrap up?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, just very quickly from that point you made about, especially with children, even with adults, but especially children. I like getting to them without their defenses up, and then the sort of lesson, they come to their own conclusion. Is that what you're saying? Which is more powerful? They sort of come to their own realization instead of sort of being reprimanded. Is this the point you were making?
Yes, yes. It depends on the right age also, because a 5-year-old may not have that level of maturity, but a 15-year-old will have. So we have to see based on time, place, circumstances. But yes, that's the idea. Yeah. Yes, Masati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, very nice discussion, Prabhu. And for the trees analogy that you gave, it's really nice. Vaishnava should be like a tree without any expectation from anyone. Just try to give as much as you can, based upon your ability. So, Prabhuji, that's my takeaway. It's very nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And these are the words of Lord Krishna. You have to keep that in mind. Sometimes, these are the words of Lord Krishna, glorifying trees. And that makes them very dear in his eyes. Lord Krishna is, as a child, I mean, of course, he's the Supreme Lord, but he's so carefully sharing the gifts given by the trees. This is a perfect thing to tell children, actually. I mean, I'm just feeling inspired to take the next class on this topic, actually. Yeah, I was actually anyways thinking that this will be the topic for next, because this is so appropriate. And Lord Krishna directly telling these. So, thank you. Okay, so I think we're a little over time, but we will pause here and continue tomorrow with the next verse. And we can churn more on the trees. Now we'll look at trees. If we have these thoughts in our mind, we'll look at trees differently. Is it not? We'll start looking at them differently. We'll be more kind. They can't speak. That doesn't mean that we have the right to take them for granted. They can't defend themselves. Actually, they can, but they do not. Because they only know one language, giving. Expectation is not in their dictionary. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said, that's a quality which makes them dear to the Lord, and that's a quality if someone, has, they can always be Krishna conscious or chant throughout. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhinam. Thank you. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.